You've got two choices. One, you let this feeling of hopelessness, helplessness get to you. You feel miserable at the fact that the world has come to a complete standstill. You don't look after yourself. You eat crazy shit. You don't sleep well in the night. You stay up late watching shit on the television or the internet. You don't take care of yourself emotionally and mentally. And then when you ask yourself, like, who's to blame? You look for other people to blame. You look for yourself to blame. You curse yourself to be in the situation. And overall, you just destroy yourself mentally. Or you don't do any of that. Instead, you take this period as an opportunity for yourself. So you look after yourself. You eat really healthy food. You work out regularly without giving an excuse. You sleep well. You jot down the targets that you need to accomplish now that you have the time. You finish up on all the things that you have been wanting to do for a really long time. You review your life until now and kind of look at things from a perspective like, was I getting closer to my goal? Is this my goal? Is this what I actually want in life? And then you focus on what you can do ahead. Because you're stuck in a situation, you research, you keep yourself updated with the news, and you try to understand how the world is going to change after this. But then the problem is, when our governments come and ask us to stay locked up inside our homes for the period of, say, 30 days, 40 days, or we don't know how long, how do we deal with this? Are human beings not social animals? Yes, they are. We like to be in the company of other people. Restaurants, cafes, bars, libraries, social places, communal places and stuff like that. We just like to be in the company of fellow human beings. Then what happens to us if we are asked by the governments all over the world to stay locked up inside our homes? Now, some of you may be living with your family. You have your sibling, your spouse, your parents, someone who's living with you. So for you, the pain of living enclosed in a room is kind of divided between you and the other person you're living with. So in times of crisis, you can comfort that person and that person can comfort you. So you kind of keep yourself together, keep your head together, and kind of keep walking through the difficult time. But then what happens if you're living completely alone, locked up inside a room with someone knocking on your door to put your food? You just take that food, and probably that is the only probably that is the only indirect contact that you have with a fellow human being. That is extremely difficult, because for us humans, we love human touch. Why? Okay, just imagine this. How do you feel when a fellow human being, someone you love, someone you feel close to yourself, touches you, hugs you, or kisses you on your cheeks or stuff like that? You feel really good, you feel comforted, you feel that you are in a safe place, right? But what happens to the people who are living alone, who have been deprived of that comfort for we don't know how many days or months or weeks? We just don't know. So in that case, for someone who's living alone, how do you deal with this situation? But then the real problem is, how do you look at quarantine? Or more importantly, how do you deal with quarantine or self-isolation? Now, there are two ways to look at self-isolation. One way is to look at it as a curse, as doom on humankind. And the other way is to look at it as an opportunity for yourself. Now, I know that there are a lot of people in the digital space who have been promoting how this quarantine or period of self-isolation is a period to think, to contemplate what we were doing wrong, whether we were getting closer to our goals and stuff like that, which is all true. But then what happens when someone who hasn't had any physical contact with a human being for the past 10 days, 14 days, 30 days, how does that person survive? That person may not be infected, but because of the situation in that city, that person can't get out and meet with other people. So how does that person deal with work? Because it is very easy to say that yes, this is a period of opportunity, you can work so much and you can do so many things, but it's difficult, it's not easy. I'm living in voluntary self-quarantine as well, and I have been wanting to work for the past 5 days. But to be very honest, I work for an hour and after that I end up taking 2 hours or 3 hours long breaks because I'm just not able to focus. And it's not like I don't want to do the work, I want to do it. But then there are a lot of other things that are going in my mind. I have a lot of emotions that are coming up to the surface. I'm suffering from kind of mood swings. Sometimes I'm really happy and the other time I can just feel really sad. So when people say that sit at home, deal with your shit, do work, how do you actually do it? It is not easy. It may not be easy, but that doesn't mean it is impossible. Now, I know that dealing with your own self, kind of living alone, does get difficult after some time. You do need that comfort of another human being. But then in a crisis like this, you don't have any other choice. So I would say that step one is to accept your situation. Look, there are actually two ways to deal with a situation. It's very simple. Number one is that you can keep fighting with yourself, that why am I stuck here? What am I doing here? Why am I so self-isolated? Why can't I meet other people? You can actually curse yourself, ask yourself, blame other people, blame the government, blame the virus, blame the animals. I don't know, just blame someone and feel bad all the time. Or what you can do is you can accept the fact that you are stuck in a situation on which you do not have any control. That is step number one. So step number two is when you decide that you have accepted the fact that you don't have any control over the situation that you are in. So step number two is to engage yourself. Now, I don't mean to say that you have to sit in front of a television or the internet or your laptop and kind of just binge watch all the shows that you've been wanting to. I mean, if that's what you want to do, then yes, go ahead. But what you can also do is that you can read, you can research, you can just do a lot of productive, creative stuff during this time. So, for instance, some of you would have been laid off from work because your company doesn't need you probably, and because they are facing a financial crunch. So you don't have a job anymore. And now, because of the current situation that we are in, you don't know what is going to happen in the next few weeks or months. Whether you would get a job or not, you just don't have any idea. So what can you do in that situation? Research. Just go to the internet, research as much as you can about your own industry, about whether there are going to be jobs ahead in the future or not. Just do a lot of research, watch videos, stay updated with the news. There must be some experts in your field who would be talking about, the economic situation of that particular industry in the coming weeks. Step number three is to look after yourself. Now by that, I don't just mean watch out for what you're eating or sleep well, although those two things are really important as well. But then what you need to really focus on is how you are emotionally. Now, because in this self-isolated situation, your emotional being has definitely taken a hit. You're probably not as energetic, as charged up, or as positive as you would hope yourself to be in situations like this. So it is completely fine. Don't stress yourself, don't push yourself, don't ask a lot from yourself. You shouldn't be like, okay, now I have the time, so I should work for 8 hours. No. Yes, ideally you should work for 8 hours, and that's what everyone on the internet is saying. But what I mean by that is, don't push yourself to the limit where you just feel stressed. When we are living with other people around us, they kind of help us relieve that stress. When we spend time, when we talk to them, when we spend some time with them, when we go out with them, when we go out into the world and meet other human beings, we kind of release that stress out of our body and into the air, right? But right now that is not possible. So there are really good chances that there are a lot of toxins building up inside your body right now. So if you can meditate, work out, I cannot just emphasize on how much important that is, and do not push yourself. Just let yourself be. Work for an hour, take a break, and then work for another 2 hours, take a break, drink coffee, tea, whatever it is that kind of recharges you, and just focus on yourself. Look after yourself. Because right now there's no one who can attend to you. Right now there's absolutely no one who will come and say, okay, well, you need help, I'm here for you. No, you are alone, and that is the truth. So the more you look after yourself, the better. I mean, you would just be in a better situation if you actually look after yourself. So I would say do all of that. So step number 1, accept the situation that you're in. Step number 2, engage yourself. And step number 3, look after yourself. It's as easy as that. It's nothing, extraordinary. It's nothing complicated. And yes, we are stuck in a situation like this, but it doesn't mean that we are going to be in a situation like this forever. You are not going to be in a situation like this forever, right? Yes, it is an opportunity for you to kind of exploit and realize, like everyone on the internet has been, people have been just shouting that, wow, this is an opportunity, we can work on so much. But it's very difficult as well. So just keep holding on to yourself, keep working, keep yourself healthy, keep yourself safe. Remember to wash your hands for 20 seconds, eat healthy food, and do all the necessary things that you have to do. And you will pull through this. And that's probably it. I don't have anything else to say. I actually had a very different idea about how I was going to shoot this video, but then it turned out like this, so I'm completely fine with it. I hope you found something useful. If you did, good for you, and thanks for watching, and I will see you with my story on Monday, that is tomorrow. Until then, cheers and take care.